Yes, my title is environmental specialist, so I work with recycling, all different kinds of issues, and lately on sustainability. So that clears that up. And as I've said, all three mayors in Burnsville, Eagan, and Apple Valley have signed the U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement. So it's very good to have leadership there moving ahead. And all three cities have had numerous projects on energy conservation and working with sustainable projects. I'd like to spend just a little bit of time this morning on talking about City of Burnsville and what they've done this year. They have taken a very in-depth look, examination of sustainability, starting out with a white paper, staff-written white paper. They've had 9 professionals come and testify. J. Drake Hamilton was one of them. And then there was comments from the city residents and businesses and for public comment. And then they just recently had policy decision on that, gave staff direction for going forward on a sustainability plan. Much of the sustainability plan has to do with energy conservation, environmentally preferable purchasing, product stewardship, 14 different practices that we need to move forward on. So staff is looking at how to put that into a plan. And basically it was very difficult to take that whole great big issue of sustainability and whittle it down to make sense for our city. And it seemed very daunting at first, but we have been able, with the help of all the professional testimony, Dakota County, City of Minneapolis, City of St. Paul, their experience, it's very doable. So we're looking at some very specific things that the city can do. And we've also worked with Dakota County on MRQ, Minnesota River Quadrant, a redevelopment area that has a lot of possibilities for sustainable and energy conservation. We're looking at it's a huge, now it's a quarry, it's going to be a lake, and looking at the possibility of having geothermal for multiple businesses.
Like Sue mentioned, Dakota County has been working a lot with Burnsville. Similar to Burnsville, just to back up, Dakota County began beginning of 2007, Mary, you can correct me if I'm wrong, in our comprehensive plan. We looked at our comprehensive plan, which is typically a land use management plan, and said, this is where we need to start putting our goals and our policies in place, hence the title of our short presentation here. So in the 2008 comprehensive plan update, the Dakota County plan will have sustainability in each of the sections, in land use and environment and energy. That's what was our first step, is putting our goals in place. Sue and I are also here together because Dakota County has a group of mayors and city administrators called High Performance Partnership. I always get that confused. HIP for short, we call it HIPP. This group has been together for 4 or 5 years? 4 years, thank you, Miracle. And they are a collaborative group. They work on everything from pandemic flu information to our recent Dakota County Communication Center. They collaborated and have one big 911 center for the cities of Dakota County. Well, this summer, they decided that we need to do something in sustainability, an energy initiative. So with leaders like Burnsville, we've got together with a chair group, Mayor Dahl is one of the representatives, and we will be kicking off an informational meeting in January of why do we want to do this together? Why should it be a county collaborative? So with the cities and the county, we're going to be kicking off a sustainability initiative. It is scheduled for January 30th, 2008 to put a plug in for any cities of Dakota County that might be here. We're looking to just provide facts and information to inspire everybody in the room. It will be city mayors, managers, administrators, and the school boards, the people that are going to be the decision makers moving forward.
As you mentioned, I'm currently with Excel Energy, but prior to joining Excel, I was with the City of Boulder, Colorado in a variety of capacities. I was fortunate enough to be there in the early stages and actively shape a lot of the programs and initiatives that happened there. I started there as an intern quite a few years ago, and my role was to promote Excel Energy's demand-side management programs to local businesses. So that leads me to my first lesson, which is when you don't have money of your own, spend someone else's. So we didn't have very much of a budget at all to do with these kind of activities, but Excel Energy was spending millions of dollars, had millions of dollars available in rebates. So we made it sort of a challenge to say, how much of this money can we bring to our local businesses and into our community? And here in Minnesota, Excel's planning to spend about $45 to $50 million a year on its conservation programs. So that's a lot of money, and it's available. We want people to use it. We have programs for nearly all commercial and industrial end uses, and we're working on improving our residential programs as well. So that's money that's available. And my second lesson here is, which may be a little bit of a contradiction for some of the things that we'll hear today, but I would really recommend avoiding over-planning, over-analyzing. Don't hire consultants and huge marketing firms to do things. The most important thing is to get out in front of people and develop relationships and partnerships, speak in front of groups. Instead of spending money to get a very precise inventory, go out and give away CFLs at grocery stores. Or we partnered with our weatherization agencies to do a neighborhood sweep, where we went door to door in a few select neighborhoods and gave out conservation kits, which have water reduction aids, energy conservation equipment, and information. And it was a really popular event. It really helped to foster goodwill. So one of the things that we recognized is that the city is not always the most appropriate face for this message. When people look at the city, they're not thinking climate change. Particularly with our property owners, you know, it was difficult for me to go out and meet with them when last week planning and development denied a building permit or is hassling over parking restrictions. You know, you have to deal with those old relationships. So coming and talking to them about warm and fuzzy stuff isn't always the most well received. But we developed relationships with some of our real estate groups and some of our private business groups who did have good relationships with these people and developed other messengers to carry our message to people, which proved to be very effective. The other thing I would say is to avoid duplication, and I think this is a great first step in that, but we tended to treat Boulder as a bubble in a lot of different ways, but it's really not. And working in isolation, you start confusing the market with different messages, different programs, and fortunately, I think the state's being very involved in things, and the Chamber of Commerce is potentially launching a program. So there's more unified efforts, and I think when you can leverage those existing programs out there, it will be a good service to you. So to avoid operating in isolation, and I should just mention that at Excel, we're very serious about reducing our emissions and promoting our energy efficiency programs. They're some of the best in the country. We're going to be spending a lot of money to try to get them out into the community. We could really use your all help in using your own media to promote these programs. We're also pursuing a lot of technological transformation, new renewables, new ways to make our power plants more efficient. And we want to develop partnerships with our cities. We have some pretty aggressive goals, and we're going to need a lot of help from all of your residents and businesses to achieve them. So,